And hello and welcome again to another edition of BCSN Sports Flash. Greg Franke in here with you tonight with a young lady that we have watched over the years and was an outstanding multi-sport athlete at Toledo Christian, Darian Westmeyer. And glad to have you back here with us on the show again, a former all-around all-star, so you've been in this seat here before. And I should say right off, we wanted to have your brother David here, who is a member of Toledo Christian championship football team and involved in one of the great plays in the history of high school football in Northwest Ohio. He couldn't make it because he's on a really cool trip out to the West Coast. We'll have to get him on another day, but it's great to have you in here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you had your first year in college. You went to Bethel College, which is just near that other school in the area called Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana. And you had a successful year playing basketball. Suffered an unfortunate season-ending injury late in the season, but nonetheless, it was a successful year. Talk a little bit about your experience in college after the years you had at Toledo Christian. I
loved college basketball. It was a nice, smooth transition after coming from TCS. I had a lot of great coaches at Toledo Christian that really helped me through the process of transferring from high school to college. It was a great season. Our record wasn't as good as I think that we were, I guess. But I got to play more than I thought I would, and I really enjoyed all the girls. Some of them are now my best friends, and I've talked to them all summer long, even though they're 2.5 hours away. And I really enjoyed my experience there, and the school's great, and it was awesome. Yeah. Now, of course, everybody knows it's a big transition when you go from high school to college basketball. How difficult a transition did you find that to be? I thought it was slightly difficult, just getting used to the team. All those girls had played full college seasons together, and they knew each other well and had lived in dorms together. But I felt that they were all very welcoming, and I fit in when my time came, and it was good. And by the end of the season, I felt that we were really close, and then I had my own role on the team, and I was contributing, so it was good. So you got toward the end of the season, you were looking forward to competing on the track and field team as well. You had a great career. In fact, we're on a state champion team at Toledo Christian. And then late in the season, you suffered an injury, which is kind of such a one that you'd never really had before. And I'm sure that was a difficult experience and a lot of rehab and all that. Talk about that, and how were you able to just cope with the stress of all that? Yeah, I think we had 7 games left in the season, and I was driving into the basket and planted, went to go up, and my knee gave out. And they didn't know what it was going to be at first. And I got the MRI the next day, and I had torn my ACL and meniscus. And that was the end of my season, unfortunately, which was very hard for me because, like you said, I had never suffered an injury that had kept me out of a game. And I had a lot of friends and family that had also had this injury, and they definitely helped me through it and kept me confident and positive through the whole experience, even though it was a lot harder and is still a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. But I'm excited about the future, and I can only hope that I'll be better than I was before the injury. Yeah, you're still not quite up to the point where you can start scrimmaging and all that all out. Was it really arduous rehab process? It has been a difficult process. It's just a long process. It's usually anywhere from 5 to 9 months that this process has to go on, and there's time, like at the beginning you can't even walk, so it's really different from going from being a college athlete to being not even able to walk around your house, and that is a hard thing to go through, and the rehab's been tough. It's painful and it's not fun, but it's something that you got to push through, and it makes you a better person in the end, I would say. So. No question. It shows really how much you want it too. And you know you got excellent care because you got a doctor who works with a lot of the Notre Dame athletes too. Exactly. So you know that's certainly going to be good. Now you got a little bit of a taste of it. It's very difficult to play 2 sports at the collegiate level, especially you're in the nursing program, which is very time intensive. Did you get a little taste of how that was? Do you think you'll be able to juggle all those things going forward? It definitely is hard, and I realized that I knew that it was going to be coming into the whole process. The first week of school I was practicing with the track team, and then I was in basketball up until my injury, and I got to go to a lot of the track meets and practices after I was had been injured and the basketball season was over. But I think it will be difficult this coming year with having to balance school, track, and basketball, but I'm excited for it. It's a challenge that I'm willing to take on and ready to take on. So
well, I'm sure you'll be successful at it, full confidence at that. Talk a little bit about your Toledo Christian career. You had a lot of great things. Your basketball team had great success, and Coach Tandy Bradford, I know, was great with all the players. You had a great relationship with her, a lot of fond memories there. And when you won that state track and field championship, and your dad was telling me a story, you could have made a TV commercial about the scene, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we had just finished up, and as soon as we finished the race, it had started pouring down rain, and we were all crying and so excited that we had just won. We were, I think, ranked maybe 8th or something like that. No one even knew who we were, basically, and we ended up with the win, and I was so excited. And I ran under the bleachers, and I saw my dad all the way at the other end, and we just went running for each other and gave each other a big hug. It was like a movie scene.
Yeah, to hear him tell the story, there are all these people milling around. He was looking for you, and then all of a sudden, from across the way, you see each other and come into an embrace and celebrating just that moment. They could have made it would have been a tearjerker to make a commercial about that. Your basketball experience was really great too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed every minute of it. I have some of my best friends on that team, and Tandy is honestly one of my heroes, and she has been there for me every step of the way and still has been there for me even now that I'm in college, and I am very thankful for those memories and that time that we had together.
Another thing I remember after a game when you were player of the game, and I was about to interview you, I believe it was at Ottawa Hills, and you picked up these 2 darling little children that your family was about to adopt, and Atticus and Madeline, correct? And they were, what, at the time, they couldn't have been more than 2 or 3 years old. It was just such a memorable moment, and now you've adopted them, and they're really thriving in their new home environment, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm so thankful for my family and all that they have contributed in my life, and how they've been there every step of the way, cheering me on at all my games and all my meets, and have just been there for me right after the game, running up and giving me big hugs, and that still happens at college.
That's how they ended up on TV, right?
Yeah, exactly. He still does that now at my college games, and I'm so thankful for all my family. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've got a great family. Your brother, like you said, student representative at Bowling Green State University, and he was in a real prestigious leadership program. Wanted to talk to him about those things tonight, but I don't think we'd had time to do justice to both your story and his, so we'll look forward to having David on another time. But thanks for being with us here on our Sports Flash.
Thank you.
Darian Westmeyer from Toledo Christian, another edition of BCSN Sports Flash. Greg Franke for BCSN.